face to face once again. Silence cuts like a knife as we pretend. And I'm wondering who will be the first. Say what we both know. We're just holding on to
when I die, the bar of my eulogy will be raised high. Mouths will stack and pile my praises high. People will cry, tears will shed, eyes will shed tears till they run dry. In my coffin I'll lie and ask why? Why wait till I die? Why come to my burial to bid me bye? Yet when I lay in the hospital bed, you never came by to say hi. Why come in numbers to lay me 6 feet under? Yet when I walked this earth in loneliness, I wondered. Why bury me in an exquisite coffin and an expensive burial attire? Yet even the earth itself will testify that barefoot I have trodden the thorniest of its lonely paths with nothing more than tattered rags on my back as attire. Why wait till I die?
Hey, wasn't me, wasn't you that broke away? For what we were is like a season, love is change. And every time I think about it,
and my best friend shall rise before your eyes to read my eulogy. There will be attention, silence, and peace. The one I always yearn for as I perform a piece. Unsteadily, she will walk to the podium, wipe a genuine tear, then proceed to read a fake account of my life. In the coffin, I will lie, grieving with grief, wondering why we never got to know each other when I was still alive. Why did she wait for me to die? Don't wait till I die to say you love me.
Wasn't me,
say it now.
Wasn't you that broke away?
Don't wait till then to start telling them how we met over roasted beef and beer. Say it now and here. I would love to hear. Or is it then? Is it when my body grows cold? When my hands that are now bold grow stiff and cold, never again to hold, that you will be bold enough to retell the stories that together we told?
It feels like you're a million miles away as you're lying here with me tonight.
Wow. All right. Valerie, that was a beautiful piece. Your voice is just as beautiful as you are. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that conversation that we'll be having today. We're calling it Taste of My Skin. We're going to put a mark, or we're going to discuss the issues, the challenges that our albinism brothers and sisters have to go through. So allow me to introduce my panel this morning. Sitting closer to me, I have Jay Ongeta. He is Mr. Albinism. In the middle, Cyril Luhutsa, the manager for Mr. Albinism. And on my far end, that lovely voice that you had, Valerie Bisubori, who is an artist and model, a.k.a. Valerie B. That, Valen, right, that was a beautiful voice. That was a beautiful piece. What inspired it?
Actually, the whole, the poet herself, she was talking about just the sad incidents of how people behave when people pass. Mm-hmm. So like, the song itself, it's by Rihanna. So it's creating this this situation where, like, when people die, there's that distance. Mm-hmm. You get it. Mm-hmm. But now coming to think of the poet, like, people behave so weird when people die, right? That's the time that you have now to say those good things about the person, but it doesn't make any impact. The person is already gone.
Right.
So there's that distance.
There's that distance.
Miles away. Mm. Yeah.
All right, Jay, how did you find yourself as Mr. Albinism? Take me through your story.
It was way back in 2016. Uh-huh. Then the Albinism Society of Kenya called upon people to come we wanted to do awareness. Because before, people viewed albinism as something strange, and none believed that we could do something like on a runway and do pageantry and all that. So that's why it was organized. So they called for an audition, and I went. For the first time, I was just going because I just wanted to do awareness and all, but then the passion grew slowly. And then we were shortlisted to 20 people for the finals, which happened around October in 2016. Yeah, it was a competition and I won, so that's how I became Mr. Albinism.
And have you been using your title, Mr. Albinism, to create awareness?
Basically, I'm an artist, so I've always started with that. I've always used my art to speak out to people and just mentoring young kids, especially those with albinism, to grow in their talents. Because I believe like when the children are young and they are given that that opportunity to believe in themselves, to know that they have something, they have an asset, and that gives them confidence, so that even beyond when they get stigmatized and all these things come along, they can always be able to fight. Because I believe when we are young is when we face all this stuff, because we don't know. But because like for me, I've grown out of that. But when I was young, I could face stigma, and also if we empower the young generation, the small kids, I think that will help to fight all these.
All right, Valen, how do you use your music, your singing, to create awareness for the albinism community?
Actually, I'm a gospel artist, and I'm a model too. I have 2 titles, Miss Albinism First Runners-Up and People's Choice. So like, I merged the 2. And now, coming to see, like, the majority are people with dark skin, right? So it's so easy for them to identify that uniqueness somewhere. So whenever I'm given an opportunity, I try to shine and bring the light to the world and say, like, all of us, we are the same. There's no difference. You'll be nominated for those awards. I too deserve it, because it's only the color, nothing else.
All right, Cyril, as a manager for Mr. Albinism, do you feel as if there's, the society is beginning to have more of a positive attitude towards the albinism community? And I know this is a thing that we face here on the African continent because of backward thinking in some communities, where we view our albinism brothers and sisters as witch hunt in some communities. But do you think that conversation is starting to change towards a better and more positive route?
Yeah, I believe so, because I would say a few years ago, you would be talking of a different story. In fact, having someone like Jay and Valen on set, it would be not a wow moment, but a surprise moment in some weird way, because not so many people were welcoming to them. But there's some work that has been done by different societies, different groupings of people, either living with albinism or be they with a dark skin but have passion to making or creating awareness of people living with albinism. And through that step by step, or say small contribution by each of them, either individuals or say groupings, there's been a bit of a change in mindset, in terms of approach, in terms of perspective, perceptions. People are trying to understand that this is just a human being like me. The same way I have challenges. I tell Jay each day, you are not a person with disability, because why? I also have my troubles, my challenges with my dark skin. The same way you have your troubles with your white or brown, I call him Mzungu. With your Mzungu skin, you still have your issues. I do have my issues. We are all human beings. We are all at the same level.
And you make a very good point, Cyril. But
Yes.
how do we begin to break the stereotype and continue pushing for a much better conversation in society? How do we begin to change that mentality?
First of all is acceptance. When you accept you have a problem, is the first step towards solving the same problem.
Right.
So when you accept that we know we've been ignorant of issues to do with people living with albinism, because some people would want to assume it's not a problem. It's, so long as it's not me, it's none of my issues. It's not our problem, actually. It's their problem. You have your white skin, that's your problem, I don't care. But when you accept that this problem, if you view it as a problem, it affects me somehow, some way, then you start looking at ways of making that either a comfortable challenge or a challenge that you'd want to do away with. Say, the best way to deal with such a challenge is it doable? Is it something that you can get rid of? Can you change J today to be black?
Right.
Skin? No, you can't. It is a challenge that you need to know how to live with. You need to know how to cope with. You do not, there's no way of eliminating the challenge. That's why some few years ago, people used to get weird thoughts of they are marketable in terms
right.
of this witchcraft
yes.
stuff and all that. But nowadays, the perspective and the perception has changed because it doesn't really, it's not really working as they thought it would be working.
Valen, growing up and living with albinism, would you agree? Do you feel as if things and people's mentality towards the community is changing, or is it still there? Especially probably within your social circles, be it in church, be it at work, be it within your own family. Do you feel as if things are changing if you compare it to now and growing up with albinism?
Very much, very much. You know, there's nothing beautiful like walking on streets and then all of a sudden someone stops you and like, oh wow, you're just so beautiful.
You are.
It makes someone just feel like I'm just surrounded with love, you know. So from Kitambo, people used to see people walking and then they're like keeping that distance. Like they don't want to associate with anyone living with albinism. But as time goes by, when we did the pageant, until now, things are really changing so much.
Jay, do you agree?
Yes, I agree. Because I believe we've come from far. Because like there were times, because like way back, I've just heard that kids with albinism in some communities were being killed. Like when immediately they are born, they are eliminated from the community. And over time, we found there was this now that came for the witchcraft in TZ and all that. But now we can see the narrative has changed. And that's why we are here. That's why Valen can sing. In fact, she's qualified for some nomination, I don't know. So for some music award. And you know, we are getting opportunities also to like do the things that people believed we couldn't do before. Yeah. So I can say it's been a good job.
Valen, what is that music award you've been nominated for?
Okay. Maranatha Global Worship Music Awards. Wow. They'll be happening on 5th, next Sunday, at Highway Mall, opposite Nyayo Stadium. That day will be the award gala. So the first, there was online voting, and then the ones who qualified now came to the second voting process. Yeah, so you're all welcome. I have 30 free tickets to give.
Congratulations to you, and we wish you the best. Last year, during the previous exam season, we saw one albinism girl get amazing marks, and the whole country was very proud of her. But then it became to a point where perhaps even the media and politicians, certain politicians, really would dance and take advantage of that popularity, that here we have an albinism girl who has gotten incredible marks. Jay, do you think it will get to a point as a society we can say we can have an albinism CEO of a large corporate, or a young girl or boy get fantastic marks and not have to look at the color and just say, you know what, just like any other CEO, congratulations. Just like any other kid, be it black, white, or living with albinism, congratulations. Because what I feel like we did as a society to her is that we took away the grades and said that congratulations as an albinism girl. You guys remember that? Let me get your thoughts on that, and I'll start with you, Jay.
For me, I'd say we are so proud of her. She did that. But then, you know, we need not to say like, now a person with albinism has become #1. You know, now it's like, how, you know, people think like it's not possible. But if people view us as the same, then it will be different. Because if it were not a person with albinism, that publicity and the hype couldn't be too much, you know. And it's time we, as you've said, it's time we view it as like we are all the same. So like if she's qualified, let her be proud of who she is. Because like I feel the pressure was too much. In fact, for me, I'd want to meet her again and know. Because like if she was given too much pressure, then even if she goes to high school, she won't be able to be the girl she wants to be, like the normal girl she can be. Because like if she like fails in a paper, it's too much pressure for her.
Yeah.
Because like all people have already viewed she's a genius and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was too much for me.
And that aspect of where she's albinism first before she's a genius.
Yeah, she's first.
Cyril, your thoughts on that?
I think I agree with you, first of all, because that from the onset of it, it tells you I'm different already. From the way the concentration is on her, every aspect of the story is on the fact that she's a girl living with albinism. So she will take it as if I'm different from the word go. Now, coming to making her understand that you're not different, it's only that you've done something that everybody would be proud of.
Yes.
You would, in fact, from themselves, if you talk to Jay, talk to Valen, and talk to somebody else, they'll tell you they would want to be treated the same way Zinzi would want to be treated. They would want to be asked the same questions. They would want to be given the same foods, the same, if we're going somewhere to do something, if I'm supposed to carry a chair, please give him a chair to let him carry. He wants to do the same things. He doesn't want you to look at him as if he's not able to do that. So from the treatments, especially in public view, it gives them the impression of this guy looks at me as a different person, so they want to treat me differently. Like for Goldaling, the girl who passed so well, and congratulations to her, though late. I would also want to meet her now and ask her, from the publicity you got, did it help you in any way in terms of propelling what you are doing now? Is it helping you to achieve more, or it's helping you to try as much as you can to impress the people who were congratulating you throughout the day or throughout the period that you performed so well? So I would say, as a society, we should look at them just like any other child who has done something good, and if they deserve to get a gift, they get a gift that you would buy anyone else. If it's congratulations, if it's a TV interview, it's a news item, just do it like somebody else. If you overdo it, it changes the positive into a negative. Unfortunately, the negative is only dealt with by the person herself.
It's like a privilege.
Yes.
Right. Valen, your thoughts on that?
All I can say first, I think the whole thing was because she was different. The skin color was different. So
Not the marks.
yeah, actually, yes, she passed. But the attention was because she was different. Because I'm very sure if she had dark skin, the attention couldn't be that much. But at the same time, all matters is her mindset. However much she received that so much attention, if she had a positive mindset, her mind will not be tampered to. Like, she gets that attention and then she becomes different, you know. But if she has a negative mindset, she'll just concentrate on the attention and then maybe grow pride, you know. Yeah, so all matters is whatever her mindset was and is, but I believe the people around her are good people who will feed her with positive.
There's something that is so important that I've had in the conversation that I feel like it's very important for us to discuss. It's how we structure terms and how we refer to the albinism community, living with albinism, saying it's a disability. And Cyril, I'll begin with you. Don't you not think probably even our society, and this can be championed by the albinism community, we need to start changing how it is that we refer to people living with albinism, because it's not a disability. I'm sure Jay and Valen can do anything as much as I can. You gave the example of carrying a chair. I mean, it's not difficult to carry a chair for them. Yes. So that aspect of where we refer to the albinism community as disabled, right? People living with albinism. Can we not just get to that point where we can comfortably, in our own skin, say, I live with albinism, or that the way you're comfortable saying I am black or I am white, I am albinism, without having to write or stemming it as living with albinism or it's disabled. That structure, that language. Cyril, don't you think we need to start changing that?
In fact, I'm really working on it from myself to somebody else and then to maybe the society in general, because that therein is where the problem is, because how you refer to me is either how you view me as, or that is how I have presented myself to you. So that's the only way or the only level we can relate on. So I would say the best way to deal with a person like Jay, and this is how I deal with him. First of all, we agreed he's not among the people living, he's not among the people with disability.
Yes.
He's not a disabled person.
Yes.
Because I told him, you have a problem with your skin? Yeah, I have a problem with my leg, but I'm not a person.
There you go, living with disability.
Exactly. So the same, if you have a challenge in this form, I have it in this other form.
Right.
The only person I would call a person with disability is a person who is unable to do something because of maybe a physical challenge.
Right.
But you, Jay, can achieve anything, everything that, some things, he's even doing some more stuff that I can do. And so I would call myself disabled, not you. So if he changes that mentality, the next person to him, be it Valen or somebody else, will also change. He's been privileged to be able to have a strong mental capacity so that such things, because it has to start here, such things he's been able to fight, and he doesn't view himself as a person with disability.
Jay, I want to hear your thoughts, and also whether we can, as society, we can be comfortable in our own skin and we say, Jay, my friend is an albino, and it ends there, instead of living with albinism or disabled, you know?
Yeah, because in fact, I'd want to tell everyone, like, it's not a person living with albinism. Because if you say that's like, I'm living here, and I have albinism here, and you're living
You already
together,
excluded yourself. Yeah.
So it's probably, the statement that works for now probably is a person with albinism. Yeah, I just have albinism, and that's all. It doesn't change anything. And for me, I feel sometimes we've put it on a negative side, while sometimes we should be proud of it. Because like, there's the opportunities I can get because I'm different. Because when I'm in a certain group of people, sometimes I stand out. And there's someone who was joking and saying that people who have dark skins, and they are running all over trying to bleach to become lighter.
Yeah.
And then God has given us a light skin, and we are not proud of it. So I think we should even start with ourselves. We should be proud of ourselves, and then the community will just go.
All right, Valen, your thoughts?
Let me take an example. When 2 or 3 kids grow together with one with albinism, do you know they'll grow up without noticing
a difference?
Yes.
Wow.
Until someone comes and tells the kid that, do you know someone is different? That's when you'll have to realize, like, this baby is different. So we have to grow with that mentality like kids. Like, let's grow together, not separating, I don't know, someone is white. Yeah.
All right. Before we close off this conversation, tell me about Taste of My Skin. Cyril, I would love to hear from you. Then Jay is going to do for us a poetry piece. I can't wait to hear it. But tell me about the event.
Good. So Taste of My Skin is an event that came about because of the platform Jay has as Mr. Albinism Kenya. So Taste of My Skin is an experience that he wants to share with the general public, and sharing the experiences that people with albinism go through. And it's not only people with albinism, it's the general public, either people with albinism or people with a dark skin or Mzungu or anyone else. Each one of them have a story to tell in regards to either living with or living with albinism, or living as a dark person, a dark-skinned person, or everyone has a story to share. So this is an experience where Jay wants to use to share his side of story, helped by other artists, some with dark skin, some with white skin like he, some with whatever kind of skin you have. So the issue is sharing the experience from your own perspective. And let's agree. So testing Jay's skin is being in Jay's shoes. And would you love it? Would you want to be
treated the way?
Would you want to be that? Or would you be proud that you are a person with albinism? Or would you be proud that you are a dark-skinned person? Or is it just the same thing?
Beautiful.
So we want to see that experience. We want to share that moment with him. Mostly we will get it from his perspective, but we have a person like Sahumu who did a piece. And Saumu will also give her perspective as a person living with dark skin. We see what is the experience. Are you happy being who you are, or do you want to change to be somebody else?
All right.
Yes.
So Jay, I cannot wait to hear What is it called? Is it titled something? Have you given it a title?
No.
Not yet. All right, but go ahead. I'd love to hear it.
Okay. Broken hedges, torn souls, dim lights, ripened green, dirty but white, searching for self in the atlas, finding hope on hanging nooses, great men, babies cry, cars on railways, broken bridges in hearts, candles under bowls, moral wharton in melodies, rice plantations on sun, lame watches with time running out, banks overflowed, oceans of tears. So maybe my heart is made of glass, the way it breaks each time I hit the wall. Have you ever for at least one time, just one time, thought of killing yourself? Oh, you haven't, right? Yeah, me too. But how many times have we died inside? What number of times have you had to read and reread the word failure from the dictionary of your mind when you watch your confidence drowning in the sea of maybe, yet you know so well you can swim because water can be life, but not really when it's contaminated. Have you faced rejection? Those moments you can't see anyone speak, but you can hear all the heavy words your shoulders can't handle. You experience darkness in the light of day. I know there are moments in my life I have had to pretend, moments I have had to dress up to their favorite colors that at least they look at me different. And now I feel like I'm a composition of reflections. When I look in the mirror, I don't see me anymore. I have to search amidst models, poets, do-re musicians, amidst A-material students, but it's time I got the thread leading me back home because I'm tired. I'm tired of views. I would rather lend them to your YouTube channel. They do better, you see. I drank self-confidence for breakfast this morning, tattooed my back with the Be Yourself slogan, so I'm ready. I'm ready to sing in the 8th octave if I have to, allow my clock to move anti-clockwise, if that will be my right time. I'm ready. Are you?